That was a good topic. I feel like that's a great topic for us to talk
Turn
about.
right, and then turn left.
So the ones, like I said, obviously 1F Jeff, one of the, you know,
Turn left.
Grimmith, Mysterious JG, Boy with the Vulture.
Never
Who
mind.
else?
I'll find a
Who
new
else was
route.
did I used to watch?
Rerouting.
This is the one thing that's always bothered me is I've always tried to figure out who I used to watch
Turn
back
right.
then. Like,
Get ready to turn
oh,
right.
Frederick Skulls. I used to watch him as well. Who else did I used to fucking watch
Turn
though?
right.
This is the annoying thing is I like to go back and, like I've said, watch old stuff that I used to watch. Because I want to see if I used to watch still holds up. Like, I know some of my old videos do fucking not. Some of them do. But some of them really don't. And that's kind of like my interest of like looking at older YouTubers who I used to watch and think, okay, is their shit still good? Or, you know, why did I watch it, you know, basically? Or like, was it just a product of its time?
Take the second exit.
And, yeah, it's just stuff like that, you know?
Exit now.
But,
Keep left, and then turn
yeah, I
left.
can never remember who I used to watch. And I still can't to this day, like, some of the
Here we
older ones.
are,
Like, I really can't
safe
remember what
and
they are.
sound.
I remember watching some old Rhett and Link stuff, but it's old YouTubers that I, like, also old, like, Let's Players that I can really never remember. Because I feel like they, like, because of the way YouTube's changed over the years, a lot of them rebranded, changed their name, and like you just don't know who's who anymore. And if these older channels are still the same name, or if they've like rebranded, or if they stopped doing YouTube altogether, and if they, you know, have changed their YouTube name because they rebranded and whatnot. So really, you just never know. I don't actually want a job from here because they're all going to Madrid. They're all going to Spain, so no thank you. I want to go to Spain after I've done UK. Because I will only have 2 cities left after this. Give me that job.
Okay, here we go.
I am probably going to continue trying to find out who I used to watch. Or I'm probably just going to go watch old 1F Jeff videos and old Grimmith videos again. Because old Grimmith videos are amazing. I didn't really used to watch Lionheart too much. Lionheart's definitely a YouTuber I used to not be that interested in. I used to think was pretty boring. And these days, I think he's an amazing YouTuber, and I think he's actually very...
At the roundabout.
I think he does like a lot of good for the community, like a lot of good for like the actual general like I think if it wasn't for him, not as many people would be interested in like Total War games as they are, because obviously Pixelated Apollo, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he still does videos, but like some of the YouTubers I used to think were really big and I used to like a lot, they don't exist anymore. Not in the same way that like Lionheart does. Yeah, there is. I must admit, I generally can't think of a lot of the YouTubers I used to watch. And my liked and favorited playlists don't really have them anymore. Like, they don't really have a good showing either of who I used to watch, because those playlists, you know, you have to like actually have added stuff to them. And I'm not the best. I never used to be the best at doing that. Like, I never used to add. Like, I never used to like. It's gonna sound mean, but I never used to like videos. Because I used to just sit and watch them as like kind of binging them. So they would just continually go through while I was doing something else. There was no real time to click a like or stuff like that. But yeah, I do want to try and find out what other YouTubers I used to watch, because, you know,
Right.
it's just interesting to think about, you know? Because if any of you have like any old YouTubers you used to watch, let me know about them, because I'm always interested.
Exit right.
It's just weird to think that how much YouTube has changed over like 10 years. Because back when I started, it was... I wouldn't say it was lawless, but it was definitely a very edgy place. Definitely very edgy. But yeah, it was back then. It wasn't about sponsorships. It wasn't about deals or ad deals or, you know, merchandise or how much money can I make, or do I need to make sure, do I need to stretch my video out for 10 minutes to make sure I can put pre-roll ads on, or, you know, YouTube wasn't as it was a very creative place back then. And I feel like these days, while some of the best content on YouTube does come out these days in terms of creativity, I think it would, if that same content would have come out 10 years ago, it would have been so much more popular and so much better, like, protected and shown off and whatnot. Because these days, YouTube is too much about keeping advertisers happy, keeping, keeping with the algorithm. Whereas back then, you could grow as long if you had an audience. YouTube promoted you, and it wasn't the hardest thing to build an audience. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy. It's still a lot easier back then than it was these days. And 1,000 subscribers back then meant so much more than 50,000 does now. And I'm not saying that as someone who obviously hasn't even hit 10K yet, but I mean the sense of if people with 1,000 subscribers back then, you were getting partnership deals. You were getting people were like, oh yeah, cool, let's get you into a partnership, let's make you into a YouTube partner and let's get you some money, let's get some money going for you, and stuff like that. Back 1,000 subs back then was a lot. Whereas these days, you're going to be making the amount of, right, so I'm going to discuss this in a very vague term, but the amount of money I made or I was able to get from my first year as a YouTube partner, I made more in a month then than I do these days in a few months. I made a lot more. And I'm not saying I don't make a lot of my YouTube, don't get me wrong, but I made a lot more of my YouTube channel back then in a single month than I made in 4 or 5 months now. And that was so weird for me. So weird to think about even now. Back then, how much I made a single month. And YouTube was just so much more about the creators back then. And YouTube constantly changed, and you got your own, one of the big things being a partner, you got your own sub button, you got to customize it and make it you. And YouTube just so much more these days. I think YouTube is kind of less customizable for a partner. Back then, partners had banners. They had everyone had a picture and a banner, but you had an entire wallpaper. Your entire YouTube channel, you got your own background to it. If you wanted to make a which I did for a while, if you want to have Dragon Ball Z as your partner background, you can do that. I think I had I didn't have Gogeta, I had Vegito, because I don't like Gogeta as much. But I had really cool Dragon Ball Z background for my YouTube channel for a time. I had my own sub button. I had all these really cool things that being a partner entitled you to. I had the ability to create a show, which I definitely misused and definitely did not understand, because back then I was very young. So I wasn't as understanding as if I'd had these options these days, I would definitely have made better use of, and I would have been able to employ more stuff for.
Keep left,
but
then turn left.
But back then, yeah, we had all of this cool stuff. Had partners had option access to, and clicking on your channel, it was so much different. If my channel and someone else's channel posted very similar content and were very similar personalities, my channel would show off who I was and that I was a partner in a far larger way than their channel would if they were not a partner. And it made it a lot easier back then to know it gave you aspirations. These days, being a YouTube partner doesn't really do much for you. It just means you got ads, and maybe you can get super thanks, maybe you can get memberships and all these other monetizable ways of making money for your channel. But back then it was be distinct, show off who you are, give your profile or give your YouTube channel this super customized look to you, show people who you are, make people know your brand. And back then it wasn't even about your brand, but it was make sure people know who you are and make sure they know you're the place where make sure they know
we're here.
You are you.
Drop the load and
if they look at they go to your channel, they know that they're getting you. And it was stuff like that that's really to me is really cool. And I honestly wish YouTube had never got rid of you customize your own sub button, because I think I had mine for a year and then it went and I was like, oh. Don't get me wrong, I actually liked a few of the changes YouTube did. I think they were don't get me wrong, I think some of the YouTube changes were necessary, but others I think I look back and think, oh, that sucks. Like, why did you change some of these really cool features and, you know, and replace them with like mediocre, like just basic ass changes that kind of like unindividualized everyone? But that's kind of the problem you have to run into is, you know, not everything can always be unique. Like back then, so many channels looked so different from one another. It was really nice to think about. Like that every YouTube channel was different and everybody was, you know, individual, and every channel had like, you know, such a large difference to them.
Ready to roll.
Like you knew who was who without needing to like think about it. Like you knew, like say if you're watching my channel, you knew it was my channel because it had my sub button, it had my logo, it had my everything. Like this was me. And it was just good. Like, you know, you got access to all these cool features. It wasn't just about monetizing. Like, don't get me wrong, it was about let's make some money, but it was like, let's make you stand out and make you some money. Like it was, you know, it was a lot more about the creator. But then YouTube became a big business, you know, in terms of like a lot of people realizing just how much money could be made from it. And let's just say that kind of ruined YouTube. In an aspect of for small creators being able to get anywhere. Because then the algorithm kind of like went from like, instead of like, there's always been an algorithm, I'll state that. But back in the day, it used to be a lot better for like creators.
And then turn
Whereas these days, it's like the entire like algorithm back then would kind of like, it seems to like focus more on, I can't really explain it, but like, it would advertise, it would show off your videos to people who are interested, but not people who weren't. Like, I feel like the algorithm was actually good at doing its job of showing people content they would want to watch. Like, if I liked, let's say if I'd seen like 20 hours of Total War, all of my like feed was Total War. Like, there was maybe a few other games that were very similar, but it was actually did a good job of like showing content that I'd want to consume. Whereas YouTube these days, my home screen is like 10% videos I've watched, 10% videos like relating to me, and then kind of big creators I have no fucking interest in. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't give a shit if there's like big creators get big, that's fine. Like, everyone has their hustle, everyone, you know, does what they do, but like, why the fuck is there some videos that I've never like got no interest in, and like nothing I've watched would ever show that I'm interested in that? And like, it just, the algorithm these days is a one shoe fits all. Whereas back then it used to be so much better at being targeted and actually feeling like what not even the ads, like what content I was being recommended actually made sense to me. Like the content was something I would actually be interested in. And you know, back then, like these days, I barely find any new YouTubers to watch. Like I think I've had like 2 or 3 new YouTubers I've watched in the last year, I think. But even then, like, I'm not even too sure. Like, I know I've definitely got one new YouTuber I watch, who's a Euro Truck streamer, or Euro Truck and Farm Sim guy. But I don't watch like any of his other content. I just watch his Euro Truck streams this place, so I don't really consider myself watching him that much. But like, I tend to watch some older Let's Plays or people I've watched for years. I don't generally branch out anymore. Whereas back in like, you know, back 10 years ago, like holy shit would I watch. I'd have so many different YouTubers I'd watch because YouTube would do a good job of suggesting shit for me to watch. And YouTube would actually offer me people who, not only did I actually think to myself, shit, I never would have watched this if not for YouTube, but like, it actually gave me options that I was interested in, instead of just random shit that like has no interest in me, and it is just like a 10 to 10 minute video because long form content's fucking dead. It's like a 10-minute video of shit that I wouldn't want to watch. Like, there is a reason that many YouTubers these days stream everything they make before they put it on YouTube, because it's so much better to just stream for like 7 hours, cut it up into little parts, put it up on YouTube after like every week, like maybe stream for like 2 hours. Say if I did like, I don't do this, I still like to record because I mean I'm up at weird times, so I just may as well record and upload it in advance and just have like loads of content coming up in advance. But like say if I like with this, I could say stream 5 hours, I could stream 10 hours of this in a week. That's 20 videos. I could then separate those 20 videos over say 5 days, so I could do, you know, 4 videos every day. And that could be done at like at 6 hours interval. So 6, 12, 6 p.m. and then midnight. That would be my 4 videos every day. And that would be a constant upload. I'd have the stream audience. I'd have people watching on YouTube if they missed it and shit like that. Or I could do the co-carnage method of just stream all of my shit on YouTube and then be lucky enough to have someone to upload it to YouTube for me. Obviously, he's a much bigger guy. He can, of course, you know, employ someone to do that for him, and that's honestly great. I'm glad that, you know, people are able to do that. Like, if I made enough money from this to employ someone to basically upload all of my YouTube videos for me, like upload all of my, like, I would like stream on Twitch for like 10 hours a day and make all of my money, and I'd have enough money to live off of, get the kiddies I want, like pay for the kittens that I'm going to be trying to adopt, and pay for my partner, you know, help I pay the bills between me and my partner, and employ that person to upload all of my streams to YouTube. Sure as shit would I do it. Like, don't get me wrong, I would probably just do it myself, you know, because there's no reason not to. But if I had like, you know, needed lifetime and stuff like that, then yeah, I could employ someone to do it. And I'd employ someone I care about and someone I know, and you know, I'd want to employ someone who's, you know, I know it would be helping. But that's neither here nor there, really. But yeah, like there's a reason why a lot of long-form content creators don't use YouTube as their platform of main. Like they use that just for like uploading VODs now, because YouTube doesn't give a shit about creators anymore. It gives a shit about people who make like 10-minute videos, and that's it. Like if you can't fit it in 10-minute videos, or even now a fucking YouTube short, no one gives a shit. Like they just don't. Like YouTube won't promote you. Like. You can tag your video right. You can hashtag it correctly. You can give a great title that's very much like kind of like little. You know, you can give like a. I mean, I don't ever do this, but you could have like a clickbait picture. But it doesn't matter. Like if it's not a 10-minute video, YouTube doesn't care. Like all of the videos I get recommended, even after watching like an hour-long stream, are like 10 to 15-minute videos 9 times out of 10. Apart from obviously the few that will obviously be from the same creator, the ones that I like recommended other creators are, it shows their shorter videos. It doesn't ever seem to show the bigger ones, like the longer videos, and the videos that are like kind of similar to what I was watching. It's just, it's weird. Like I know, like sometimes, don't get me wrong, there is like sometimes something proves the rule by showing something different and showing me like, you know, shows that this rule isn't like what's the word? It's the what's the word phrase? There's a phrase for this. Can't remember what it is, but it's like the saying that that's the one that proves the rule, because there's one odd out proves the rule itself. But either way, yeah. I don't know why I'm bitching about this, but I feel like it's just something like I'm on stream. I need something to bitch about. May as well bitch by, you know, this. But like, I don't get me wrong, even Twitch and like streaming has its own problems and its own issues, and especially for creators of certain games. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that my streaming of this, because not as popular as me playing like EU4, I know I could get a much bigger audience playing EU4 every day. I just don't find it interesting. Like, I just get bored of EU4 after a while. Like, EU4 will be back on the streams, by the way. Don't get me wrong, it will be back. I'm just, you know, I'm having a lot more fun doing this. It's like, these days, like streaming, unless you stream consistently and like build a small little community, you just don't get anywhere. And even then, you don't get very far. But it is what it is, isn't it? And the further you get into a game, the less viewers you have as well. Like, the first stream of many games will probably be the biggest stream you get out of that game, out of that save. Because loads of people, everybody wants to be there for the start, and if you're not there for the start, they don't care. They zone out. And I can accuse myself of doing this a few times where I've tried watching Shenron and I've been like, oh, fuck. And then I've not watched him live. I've gone and watched his VODs instead so I can watch it from the beginning. Because I'd rather watch from the beginning to then know where he's got to. So really, while it still supports you, when you're live streaming, obviously you want people watching you live, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about what we're doing. So at the moment, obviously, we've been slowly driving from we went from Plymouth to Cardiff to Swansea. We're now going from Cardiff to Sheffield, which is somewhere I know quite well, actually, because I've been to Sheffield quite a few times. Kind of want to get past this guy because in the rain I don't want to be stuck behind him because our brakes are going to be shit. You know, I'm going to let him get a bit far ahead of me, actually. Instead of trying to pass him, we're just going to let him get a bit ahead so that we have the braking distance. Go to 30 miles an hour, so that should give him the ability to get ahead of me. Oh, it's 50 now, okay. So one topic we could go into is the fact that I'm trying to adopt some kitties in the moment. So I, for the longest time, has always said that I want pets with my partner. Me and my partner are going to get pets. We're going to get dogs. I've always wanted a husky, and I still do want a husky. But a husky is a lot of effort, and they need a lot of attention, and my current flat would not work for a husky. I would need to wait for my partner to move in, and then between my partner and I, you know, get a better place to live, bigger place to live, and then, you know, we afford, but, you know, actually have the ability to, you know, take the dog out for long walks and shit like that, and have like a little garden for them to actually mess about with. Whereas at the moment, my current residence, I don't have a garden. But for now, a dog for me is kind of off the table. As much as I love dogs, it's just not feasible, and it wouldn't be fair to that dog to not have somewhere to run about. Like, I could take him to my mum's, which is only down the road, but like, you don't want them to like have to look at that fucking little. Look at that bobblehead just go. Like, you don't want them to, you don't want to have to, you know, bother my mum every day just to take my dog over there, and then bother my family dog with a new little puppy or a big puppy in this instance, because the family dog's a Cavapouchon, which is not the biggest dog in the world. They are quite small. They're not the smallest. Like, I'd say they're like a small medium dog, but they're not a big dog by any means. If I took a husky around there every day, he would get sick of the husky, and he'd get sick of me. He'd be like, you dickhead, why are you bringing this dickhead around again? Like, just take him home. So, and because all my friends, so this is going to sound really weird. I know that the way this sounds, it doesn't sound right. Because all my friends, whenever we play D&D, they always like to have they always turn their cameras on, show off their pets, and, you know, and in my opinion, rub in the fact that they've got animals and I haven't. I mean, they're not doing that, but that's the way my brain looks, and I'm like, you bastards, you've got pets. And this is where I'm going to make you guys understand that I'm not just I'm doing this for a reason. I'm explaining this for a reason, because I have to, like, this has to be explained properly. Because it does sound like I just want a pet because my friends have got them. I'm going to quickly clarify, that is not the reason. Seeing them with their animals has made me realize how lonely it is living alone at the moment, because my partner can't move in just yet. So, like, I live alone. When I'm at work, I go to work. I wake up alone, I go to work, and then I come home and kind of just sat with no one in the house. And you don't realize how lonely it is to be sat on your own until all of your friends have pets, and like you kind of realize how loving it is and how nice it could be to have a pet. So because of that, I sat and spoke with my mum. Was like, right, mum, I want to adopt a cat. You know, like. Because my mum, she's got friends who have had, like, adopted cats, and my auntie and uncle, they always adopt cats, and they always rescue them. And, like, I was like, oh, mum, I want a kitten. Like, and I specifically want a kitten because I want a younger cat who is going to then grow. I want a cat who I'm going to have for years. Like, don't get me wrong, I would happily adopt an older cat as well if I had that connect. If I went to, like, a shelter and I connected with an older cat, I would want them. It's nothing to do with that. But the reason I also didn't want to rescue a cat, I wanted to get a kitten because I don't think, as a first-time cat owner, I could give a rescue cat everything they needed. I don't think I could fill in the void or fill in whatever they've gone through, and then I could be that person to make it better for them. Because, you know, rescue animals, it's always better to rescue an animal and adopt and just adopt as well. It's always better to rescue and adopt than it is to get and like just get one that's just been born.
Continue straight.
I know this, and that's definitely what I want to do.
Go straight.
But in the instance of like trying to get an adopted cat, trying to rescue a cat, I don't think, because as a first-time cat owner, and because I do like when I am at work, I'm not off sick, I am busy, and I have got like a lot of stuff going in my life. Obviously, adopting a dog was out of the question because I'm just too busy at the moment, and obviously, like I said, don't have enough room. But kitten, oh, don't you do this to me, you fucking bastard! So it's a fucking okay. Can I?
Let's get this job done.
Okay, I've got the time. It's fine. We'll do it.
Go straight.
Not worth the pay, but it's fine. But yeah, because of all that and all the situations, I I decided that like because I just don't think I can give them the right love they need, and I can look after them as well as I could. I want to be able to, because I'd want to give them the best life. And the rescue cats I've seen, like they have the issues they have. I don't know how I would cope with them, and I don't know if I'd be best for them. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think I'd be bad for them. I just don't think I think there are better forever homes out there than possibly I would. So I was looking at I was still looking to try and rescue a cat, but like try and get a kitten because they're easy. I think that'd be easier for me because I'd know them from the little baby, and it'd be very easy to learn. Like I'd be more used to them. And at the moment, I have got my eye on a pair because I was only originally going to get one. Then my mum sent me a picture of two kitties, of two little beautiful little black and white kitties. And now I'm on a crusade to try and get those two. I can't afford it yet, and I really am really annoyed that I can't afford them. But I am on a crusade to try and afford them, because those two kitties are perfect. Like, the two kitties I want to adopt are absolutely perfect for me, I think. There's two of them. They're both female, which means they're females as my grandparents and I've been told are much better at much prefer being indoor cats than outdoor cats, which is great because I want them to be indoor cats. They haven't been declawed or anything. They're very nice little personalities, from what the thing said. Like, they're generally exactly what I'm looking for in a pet, like, as a first-time cat owner. My partner is not a first-time cat owner. I do have many cat owners in the family who are there, can offer advice and whatnot. But the only thing that's stopping me at the moment is the adoption fee, and I'm just kind of sigh thinking, fuck, I need to figure out how to can afford this as quickly as possible, because I don't want them to get adopted before I can adopt them. Because I want to adopt them, So my brain's like, shit, I need to think of some money-making schemes. I need to, I need to Ed, and Eddie this. I need to money scheme it up. But unfortunately, I don't have any current ideas. But if anyone wants to donate or give a Twitch sub or a Twitch Prime, please do. That will help me get a kitty. Well, two kitties, who if they like it, if they're comfortable, I could even put them on a kitten cam, because I do have a webcam. But I don't want to get a cat just for a webcam. I'm not the type of person who's like, yeah, I'll put them on webcam. I'll farm them for views. Yeah, no, I want a kitty because I want a kitty. I have, don't get me wrong, it's definitely crossed my mind, but it's like, nah, I want a kitten because I want that company at home, and I want that little kid. I want some cats to play with and mess about with. So I'm not just sat on my PC all day every day. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind sitting on my PC all day every day, but it's not as fun as playing with some kittens. Just kittens are great. Which I'll also say is, I never realized how much of a cat person I was. I have never been a cat person. I am a dog person. I've always believed myself to be a dog person. Like, I've always said if I was to get a pet, it'd be a dog. I've never been the most interested in cats, and holy shit. Oh, piss. Oh, that's a problem. We're going to be late. We're 2 hours and fucking... Oh, that diversion has actually fucked me. All right, looks like we're dozing again, boys. Yeah, I'm just gonna do some creative speeding because right now I fucking need to. But yeah, like I want kittens because I'm like a cat in general. Yeah, so I always thought I was a dog person, but when I saw that picture of those two kittens my mum showed me, fuck me, did my heart melt, and I was like, I need those kittens. Like I want to give them a forever home, and I need to figure out a way to afford them. Because I can afford the monthly costs, you know, like I could afford the pay insurance and paying for the food and paying for the litter. But what I can't currently afford is the actual the straight up fee of buying them, which is the only thing I'm struggling with, which is really annoying. It's like it's just like, oh fuck, I can afford to pay for them. I can afford to, like, you know, I can afford the food. I can get some dry and wet food, you know, if they have a mixture. I can afford some toys. I can afford the beds. I can afford the litter. You know, all on the 15th. Like, as soon as I get paid, I can afford all of it. I'd obviously be able to afford the one-off, but monthly payment, like month to month, I could easily afford to look after them. But I just can't afford the one-off fee, and my brain's just like, that's bullshit. I want these fucking cats.
Keep left, and then continue
but
straight.
I'm sure I'll figure it out.
Go straight.
I am sure I will I will edit any